kid, did you ever play Ghost in the Graveyard with your friends?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I cannot remember exactly what the game was all about.
Right.
How did the kids in your neighborhood play it?
Well, it was a combo of like tag and hide and seek.
Yeah.
And there was a ghost who was it. And
Right.
I think if you got tagged, then you became a ghost.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I don't remember much at all.
No.
I do remember it was fun.
Right.
I do remember we always played it at night.
Right. Yes.
And I do think there was a bit of running, which as a
Yes.
kid I was firmly against. So I didn't play it that often.
Right.
But it is the inspiration for the diorama I'm making
Oh,
this
nice.
week. Yeah, I'm going to make a ghost in a graveyard.
All right.
So I decided to start with the headstone,
Okay.
and I decided to cut it out of foam
Ah.
with a Proxxon hot wire cutter.
Oh, nice.
And I'm also using some cutting jigs from Shifting Lands
Oh, good.
that make it a little easier to cut certain shapes and angles.
Right. And we'll put the info in the description box.
Exactly. Now this is an old creepy cemetery, so I'm using my knife to carve some nicks and wear into this headstone.
Oh, good.
Did you ever play Ghost in the Graveyard, by the way, in a graveyard?
Oh, God, no. Did you?
I do remember one time a friend and I were chasing each other around in a cemetery.
Okay.
We were kids.
Oh.
And we heard a car drive in through the gate, so I thought we should hide because you shouldn't be playing games in cemeteries.
Right.
So we crouched behind the garbage cans at the exit, figuring that the car would leave and that we'd be okay.
Yeah.
And then we hear the car approaching and then slowing.
Oh, no.
And then stopping right at the garbage cans. And then the door opens up and we're just crouched down trembling in fear. And the
yes.
driver was just throwing out some garbage.
Okay.
And she could totally see us. So I just gave up and I stood up and I said to my friend, "Ah, you might as well stand up. They know we're here." But my friend refused to stand up.
Oh,
So I just
no.
looked like an idiot kid standing among the graveyard garbage cans talking to myself.
Nice.
All right, so the headstone I painted with Mod Podge and black paint.
Right.
I know, I was an idiot. And then acrylic paint and then a wash to darken it up.
Okay.
And I was ready for the next step. And the next step is called drilling the plinth,
Okay.
which is an expression we had in high school, which meant when you had excessive amounts of homework and you were up all night. Oh, no. Boy, he was up drilling the plinth all night. All right, so I covered the plinth in clay,
Yeah.
and then I used some crumpled up tinfoil to texture it, because I want this to
Oh,
look
yeah.
like earth
Right.
in a graveyard, and I
Of
want it to
course.
look like, it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
And then once I have textured this to my liking, I'm going to bake it gently in the oven.
Okay.
Or burn it to a crisp.
It is.
My souffle, she is ruined. And I left it in too long. I left the thing in too long, but it's fine because I'm going to paint it.
Oh, okay, good.
All right, so I get out the acrylic paints again,
Nice.
and I pick a color that's kind of like creepy, moist earth,
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of grass, green, mold, moss,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, yes.
And I paint it up, and I could probably leave it like this,
Yeah.
but I want a little more texture and a little more realism, so it's time to break out the tea.
Oh.
That's right, international teas. Enchanting flavors for your hectic mornings or those quiet evenings. So I take these teas,
Yes.
these old tea leaves,
Yeah.
and I mix up some glue and water.
Okay.
The glue mix, by the way, 50-50,
Oh, yes.
half and half. But we've seen videos where people use different proportions.
Right.
So do what works best.
Yes.
I cover the painted clay with the glue, and then I just sprinkle on the old tea leaves.
Yeah.
Now, this was an experiment.
Right.
We weren't sure this would work.
Yes.
Some people use store-bought flocking for this step. Some people use actual soil.
Oh, I know.
But as it turns out, old tea leaves look an awful lot like grave dirt.
Yeah.
And the different types of tea yield different colors and textures.
Yeah.
Which works out.
We have an amazing collection of old tea
So
now.
much tea now.
And that, by the way, is important to remember. Use the tea.
Oh, use the tea.
Have your tea.
Drink it.
Drink your tea, then dry out the leaves.
It's frugal.
Economical.
Now, the green grass type substance is not tea leaves.
Right.
It's actually pencil shavings.
Oh, yeah.
That we colored with acrylic paint. And again, in this case, use your pencils.
Use your pencils.
Sharpen your pencils. Then use the shavings.
Yes. Frugal.
It's frugal. It looked pretty good at this point.
I like it.
And I could have stopped here. But I added a little moss to the base to give it more texture and to make it look more neglected, like a forgotten grave where only ghosts visit. That brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. This ghost, is an example of me completely winging it.
Yeah.
I did it once before.
With your haunted house.
Right, and it worked okay.
Yeah.
So I tweaked my process just a little to work with this diorama.
Okay.
I basically put a skull shape on an armature wire, clay.
Right.
Then I draped it with fabric, and you can use different fabrics, silk, handkerchief, cotton, t-shirt, whatever.
Right.
I use cheesecloth because I love texture.
Oh, yeah.
I drape it with the cloth and then drown it in more watered down glue, and that will harden it, and then I can shape my ghost.
Oh, good.
He's cool. He's
is.
very creepy and
Yes,
spooky.
he is.
I really like his texture and his shape.
Yes. What are you going to do with that wire?
Oh, that was just there so I could bake the clay, but I don't really need it anymore.
Okay.
So I'm just going to snip that off. And you remember earlier when I was drilling the plinth?
Yes.
Well, that's where that wire goes.
Oh,
And then
okay.
he just sits in there and he looks like he's floating above the grave. Let's take a look. So there he is, our ghost in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Lonely, forgotten,
Oh, no.
but well lit.
Oh, yes, he is.
Thank you. Thank you for convincing me to get studio lighting.
Oh, yes.
He looks fantastic.
He does.
We should do more of these.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was easy.
Oh,
we
good.
should do maybe a diorama of two idiot kids hiding behind garbage cans.
Yes.
It'll be a companion piece. Or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Right.
On to the next.
Okay.